This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Carbonite. Today on TRS, James Cameron gives us a preview of the re-release of Titanic in 3D.
So, Jeff and I just walked out of Paramount, the big Paramount Theater, where we got to see Jim Cameron talking about, I love that now I say Jim Cameron. That's how everybody announces him at Paramount.
And John Landau.
James Cameron and John Landau presented us with 18 minutes of the new 3D conversion of the Titanic film. A lot of interesting information, you know.
Yeah, the biggest piece of information is it's been 15 years since Titanic came out.
15 years since Titanic.
How did that happen?
I know that, like that, it happened.
15-year-old kids that were born when Titanic came out.
Yeah, the Titanic babies. There was a big wave. It was such a romantic
Titanic
movie
babies.
that there was a big wave of babies.
You joke.
I know. There was probably a big wave of Leo and Kate's being made and Rose's.
So we saw 18 minutes. It wasn't all in a row. It was clips. And it was really sort of the whole arc of the film. We started with those wonderful shots of the crowds getting on Titanic, the sweeping shot of Kate getting out of the...
Which is a great shot, by the way.
It's a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
And it comes down over her hat. And in 3D, you see those crowds, you see the levels of crowds.
Yeah.
And you see that, like, the rear view mirror of the car is in the foreground, and we come down over her hat. And the thing that struck me right away was that, you know, we saw the conversion of Star Wars way back when at Dolby several years ago. And it feels like the conversion technology has already come so far. I didn't feel like I was watching a Viewmeister viewer of levels of flat. Yeah. You know, it wasn't just a series of stages.
And that was a big point that he made because, you know, he said, look, I'm a proponent of shooting these things natively and that I really don't like the conversion process. But he said that part of it is that most of the time when they do the conversion process, it's sort of a money grab. Yeah. It's not because they're trying to do it well. He said by the time that this movie comes out in April, that they will have spent 60 weeks.
And $18 million.
$18 million converting it. So he has, I mean, it's meticulous. It's a meticulous conversion. And I think that technology to do those meticulous conversions exists. It's just, who's going to spend $18 million extra to make, you know, Green Lantern or
it was interesting. He was the first one to admit that even this, he said he's a big proponent of native, and even this he considers 2.9D, not full 3D. But he says most of these converted movies are more like 2.4D, and they really don't even approach what you get for true 3D. And
now, how are you? What's your vibe on Titanic? I mean, we've never really talked about it because 15 years ago we were not making this show,
That's true.
Nor was there an internet. So
That's true too.
I mean, there was something, but it wasn't. YouTube
no video.
No video. But what's your take on Titanic? I was sort of surprised at the fact that even seeing 18 minutes of it, I got choked up.
Me too.
And I was like,
teared up.
Fucking Titanic.
Teared up. Amazing.
I was like, how is that possible?
So they starts with her getting on the boat. We get some of the fun stuff at the beginning. We see Leo first meeting her, you know, trying to be a cultured gentleman. We get the fun below decks dance sequence. And all of that in 3D. It just feels like, man, this movie was made for 3D. And he talked about how he's always shooting for depth, and he's always trying to create depth in every shot, even when he was shooting 2D movies. And it shows. It shows, you know, you feel a part of that world. Then, you know, then we get into the S hitting the F a little more.
Man.
And then, you know, those wonderful long corridor shots with the water.
Oh,
amazing.
In 3D. Amazing. I mean, really, and it's interesting because he was talking about, you know, that 3D will not only is cool for the big action set pieces and all that stuff, but that it's what it really does is it almost makes you feel like you're in the room when these small personal moments are happening. And it makes it even feel more immersive. And it is true. I felt the same way. He said that, you know, with 3D, what happens is a good 3D, you see the novelty of it at the beginning of the movie where you're like, oh, look, everything's in 3D. But he said the good 3D, by the end of the movie, you forget that you're watching 3D.
Or even by a few minutes into the movie, you forget.
18 minutes, and I mean, the majority of that time, I was not even thinking about 3D. I was just enjoying the movie.
Well, it's interesting, too, because it has, you know, they showed that iconic Titanic poster shot of her on the bow, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like they could have done, she's popping right out of the bow, right into your face, and 3D, and it's really subtle what they actually did.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key. He said, you know, 3D can add as much to a small dramatic moment as it can to a big special effects moment. And he said, you spend $100 million on special effects, it's gonna look spectacular no matter what.
2D, 3D, it doesn't matter.
It's these other intimate moments where you're drawn into the screen and you're feeling part of what's happening.
You know, the other thing that I found really interesting, we reviewed Puss in Boots.
Yes.
And one of the criticisms that we had for the viewing that we did of Puss in Boots was we talked about the problem that exhibitors are lowering the output of the bulbs, and with the 3D glasses, you get this sort of dark, muddy feeling.
It's so dim and terrible.
Well, somebody asked James Cameron about that specific thing, and he said, well, did you think this looked, I mean, we were in the Paramount Theater, but he was like, did you think this looked dark? And he said, well, no, not this.
And I didn't either, did you?
Not at all. Not at all. It looked like how you would see that movie.
Yeah.
And he said that when they did the release of Transformers 3, that Paramount actually took the time to go and calibrate with Real D, I guess he said, go and calibrate 2,000 screens. Because the thing he said was, he was like, look, there is a setting. It's not like it's a guess and they have to like, there's a setting on the bulb. If it's 3D, put it to 10 or 11.
Whatever.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put the bulb to 11 if it's 3D.
Yeah.
Period. And he said, but people just aren't doing that, and the
he
fact
said,
that
they're trying to cut corners and save money and try to save the bulbs. Yeah.
But, and I think the good news is, it sounds like he's a real champion of, no, the whole point of this is it's a premium experience.
Yes.
And as he said, you know, you can't be taking money in one hand and giving it in the other. I mean, you can't claim it a premium experience when you're purposefully dumbing down the experience to save yourself a little bit of money. But the fact that Paramount was going out to those theaters, and he said, I think that it's a testament to how well the 3D versions of the Transformers movies, I mean, they were going to do great either way, but at least it's good that the people who have the power to go, you're not going to get our big tentpole blockbuster movie if you don't keep your shit calibrated.
Right.
That should hopefully alleviate that thing that we have, which is when you go see a muddy movie and you're like, wow, this is worse.
Yeah.
And as he said, it shouldn't be the choice of 3D and dark or bright and 2D.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the choice. It should be equally the same viewing experience.
Exactly. And the only disturbing thing for me is how little control the filmmaker has over that.
Oh, God.
And how it's great, as you said, that Paramount stepped up to the plate for Transformers. I hope more studios do that more often for even the smaller, not you know, Transformers of the world.
Well, I'm hoping that there becomes the sort of THX standard for 3D, where you can literally lose the standard, and then people can look through the on the web now. For me, it was always looking through the little paper and seeing the little logo next to the theater. And I was like, oh, this one's in a Sony digital sound, so it's digital. You know what I mean? And then the train's gonna come through at the beginning, so I hear it, and it's cool.
You know, and the other cool shot that they showed, the sort of the ending of the sequence that we saw, was when things get really crazy, the band's playing, water's rushing everywhere, and of course, my favorite shot in the entire film, which is that the Titanic is completely on its end, there at the top, and that awesome digital stuntman does the bounce, careening off the
leg opening up one way and spinning, and
which
you're like,
was always my favorite shot of that whole movie. I was like, oh, I hope they show that in 3D. I hope they show that in 3D, and they did, and it is just even more spectacular because you're looking down, you have that sense of depth. He goes bounding off that.
Yeah, they really, it's surprising because, you know, we got the invite to this, and I was like, why would you want to redo Titanic in 3D? Man, I'm kind of excited to see this movie again.
I am too, and they mentioned that it's also going to be re-released on the big screen in 2D. Right. They have a new print that they said is going to look better than it's ever looked.
Yep.
They removed a lot of the grain that was in the film. It's a new, like, 4K print.
Yep.
And so even in 2D, it's going to look better in this re-release that's happening in 2012.
Yeah.
But for my money, I can heartily recommend, if you can find a theater that will show it at the brightness that it needs to be shown.
By the way, hopefully this will get the same treatment, because it's going to be, you know, them going, hey, let's make sure this is a great experience.
Yeah. But I think we both walked out of there going, 3D is the way to go for this movie, shockingly.
Shockingly.
And like you were saying, I was reminded how beautiful a movie this is.
Yeah.
And you know, for as much credit as I gave him when Avatar came out for the pure accomplishment of making Avatar, you realize what a friggin' accomplishment Titanic was.
Yeah.
Wrangling some of those, just the pure logistics of some of those sequences with all that water and all those extras and all that chaos happening. Like, that movie, it totally stands up. Like I said, we both got emotional in 18 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to see on a big screen. It's not a small screen experience.
No, it's not. And that's one of the things he said. He said, you know, there are people who have never experienced this in the theater, and that it was always made to see in the theater, and it's a better experience in the theater.
Yeah.
So now you get the opportunity.
I was really impressed.
Yeah, I was surprised. I think surprised is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But yeah, check it out, April 2012.
Sounds good. Yeah, they're doing it right before the actual date that Titanic sailed.
Yeah, the 6th, I think. Something like that.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, be sure to stick around for all the outtakes from this lovely show. But first, we want to thank our sponsor, Carbonite. Computer disasters eventually happen to everyone. It just happens. It's statistically proven. Your computer crashes, gets infected with a virus, you drop it, there's theft, there's a fire at your house, all sorts of stuff.
Just your hard drive stops working.
Your hard drive stops working. That happens all the time. But if you get Carbonite online backup before the disaster, then you have no need to worry because your files will be backed up automatically and safely off-site. It's really easy to get them back. Plus, you get anytime, anywhere access to your backed up files from any computer or on your smartphone, iPad, with the free Carbonite app, which is amazing.
You know, that used to not even be as big of an issue for me because I was like, what files do I have? But now I realize I literally do not have physical copies of photos.
Oh, yeah.
All I have is digital photos. And so, like, literally memories will be erased.
Yeah, your memories of memories. With Carbonite, unlimited backup for your PC and Mac, or both, I don't know, is just $59 a year. That's a year, people, not a month. That's less than $5 a month. But when you use the offer code TRS to start your 15-day free trial, you'll get 2 months free if you decide to buy. All the details, carbonite.com. And remember to use the offer code TRS when you check out. 2 months free with purchase. Amazing. All right, people. We'll see you. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Okay.
It's a world of blogs. It's a world of blogs.
You can write or read them as much as you'd like. Oh, blogging.
This is it. This is a big time for video game. Big time.
This is a big time.
This is it. Everybody pay attention.
This is it. All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this. Need to swallow. But first, we want to thank our sponsor. Join modding wizard Ben Heck and his friends as they build a community of modding inspired creators.
Be sure to watch new episodes of The Ben Heck Show every 2 weeks right here at revision3.com/TBHS, right, Alex?
TBHS. We'll do it again real quick.
Oh, that's gold.
Well,
Look, outtakes. We need outtakes. Yeah. Go to Element 14. Go to element14.com/TB. Go to element14.com/TBHS to find out how you can enter to win.
Nope. Have to do it again.
Going back to the top. Just gonna zip this up.
Zip it up. Zip it up.
I'm zipping it up.
Get all dignified.
Bring it in together.
Bring it in.
I'm gonna put on my bow tie and we're going. Here we go. Ben Heck Show. Join modding wizard Ben Heck and her.
Him. It's a him.
It is a him.
It's a him.
Hey, everybody! Be sure to stick around. We're about to answer one of your Twitter questions after this.
Heck.
First, we want to get serious and talk about a sponsor without laughing.
What is that laugh?
That's my southern laugh.
Yeah. It's like goofy.
Well, golly.
Well, hey.
Hey, that's amazing. Hey. I'm just feeding the outtakes. Here we go. Back to
They've been fed.
They've been fed. Hey, everybody, stick around. We are about to do some cool shit.
Come on.
Forgot how it went. Here we go. Oh, in the latest episode of the Ben Heck Show, Ben and the gang continue their work on pinball machines, helped by renowned... I can't believe you broke. That's so harshly.
It's not good.
I was gonna be able to do that one, I think. And then it was just...
Get to it.
I know.
You're like 4 words away.
I know, but I was feeling. I was like, I girded my loins.
Come
All right, here we go. First, we want to thank our sponsor, the Ben Heck Show.
Oh yeah.
Great show. Solid.
Sav's lost all respect
For the show. He was like, oh, I thought you guys made a show.
No, this is what we do.
Join modding wizard Ben Heck and friends as they build and modify. I lost everything because I scratched my ear. I did.
Come on.
I literally did. I
You got this. You got
like,
this. You
this
got
is
this.
weird now.
Got
Hey! Just give me 1 sec. Here we go. Get it together. Go to element14.com/tbhs to find out.
Why are you laughing now? You made it through.
We can cut it. We can cut it. We can cut it.
Go to.
Go to element14. Just.
You made it. I was like, we made it. We're in the clear.
We can cut it.
We're in
Just
the
give me a
clear.
second. Give me a second. We can cut it.
Cut into reddest faced Alex ever.
Element14.com/.
What did you drink before you
No,
got
it's
here?
happening. This is what I can feel. It's happening. We'll cut right back in. Just let me get the tears out of my eyes. Here we go. Cutting right back in. Cutting in.
Oh my god.
No, it's gonna happen. Just wait. Just give me a
You have
second.
1 sentence.
Just give me a second. It's a long sentence. A lot of dots in it. All right, here we go. Go to element14.com/tbhs.
Oh my god.
It's getting harder. Hold on. Here we go. This is the one. Bah, bah. 4 pinball board prototypes from this episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
As well as builds from other shows.
That does sound cool.
No, we gotta go one more time. One more time. Go again, real quick. To find out how you can enter to win 4 pinball prototypes boards.
Wrong board.
I read it wrong. Here we go. But that's a good one. So go to element14.com/tbhs to find out how you.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That was the one. I felt it.
You're seeing how the sausage is made.
This is kind of the greatest thing that's happened.
How do you guys do your sponsor gigs? Oh God. Here we go. Okay. Holy crap!